All our bets will close the show, as per usual. But joining us right now to kick off the final hour, kick off the power hour, because, you know, the news gets announced. Aaron Rodgers back in Pittsburgh. And I'm thinking to myself, man, who can we have on to talk about this? There's only one man. There's only one name. Celebrity Pittsburgh Steelers fan. One of the most respected yinzers out there. Football America is the show that you can find on YouTube. It is spectacular as part of our friends at Meadowlark Media. He hosts the Dan Le Batard Show every Friday. The best. Our friend Dave Dameshek joins us here on You Better You Bet on Twitter at Dameshek. My friend, welcome back to the show. You're looking better than usual. You look well rested. How's it going? How you doing?
Oh. I'm doing well. So many different directions to go in. First of all, really been enjoying your new turn on the digital media, issuing the so-called vertical videos that are very popular with the kids these days. Always weighing in on this, that, and the other in the world of sports and beyond. Gun show, I noticed on Sunday night, you had the tats out for all the Pistons fans as you sort of, kind of tried to pretend like you were making nice with them, but really you were taking a shot at them for not getting to play your Knickerbockers.
Well, listen, to be fair, right?
We could talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. I disagree with your assessment of where it's going to go, but I also disagree with the NHL's choice to continue on with the playoffs after the Penguins went out in round one. They should have just called it a day and come back fresh in October. And lastly, PGA Championship, I only indulged a little bit of watching myself. I really think that of the majors that exist in tennis and in golf, the PGA Championship is the lamest. It has no vibe to it, and they really should effort for their own sake to do something distinguishing. Do you know it used to be match play decades and decades ago? That would be a distinguishing feature, as would making all the players play every round with just a 6-iron and no other club. That would be cool. Okay. You would definitely watch. You would definitely pay attention.
What is this, Calvin Ball? Like you're Bill Watterson now, just like making up a game here? I would actually argue.
That's right.
I think it's the Australian Open, only because the matches are in the middle of the night. I think that's the most nondescript of the majors in those sports.
But the fact that it is in the middle of the night is a distinguishing feature, as is the fact that it's 298 degrees.
All
apparently.
right. You know, now we're in a totally different direction here. So as a sports fan and bon vivant, I ask you this question because I was thinking this, as we're coming down this, and Aaron Rye was 300 to 1 to win this tournament, and the juxtaposition, and I was actually planning on doing this like next segment. I'll do a little bit of it now. Okay. The juxtaposition between golf and tennis is fascinating, right? And I think you can make a case for either thing that I'm going to say now. Where in tennis, let's just use the men's side, right? It has been a foregone conclusion for 20 plus years. There's like 4 players that can win every major, right? Whether when it was the big 3 era with Federer and Djokovic and Nadal, and now like Alcaraz isn't playing at the French Open, it feels like Sinner's just going to win, right? Where in golf, like, yes, you can have Rory McIlroy win a major, and you can have Scotty win a major, and you can have Tiger Woods win a million majors. But you will never have in tennis, and I don't even mean this as a criticism, just a statement of fact, you will never have in tennis J.J. Spawn win the U.S. Open. Aaron Rye win the PGA Championship. And I found myself, and I don't mean that as a criticism of tennis. I mean it as I found it to be fun yesterday watching the PGA Championship. What does Dave Dameshek prefer as a man and as a sports fan? The certainty of tennis or the uncertainty of golf?
I love it, except for the fact that you have me on your show, and then you go into a 5-minute monologue about tennis v golf.
Well, I mean,
what the hell are we doing?
I'm on the show to talk about the Steelers, and you're giving me they should play with 6-irons at the PGA Championship. What do you want me to do?
I enjoy talking about the game of life as much as you do. I'm sorry, I go in various different directions here. I like dynasties, and whether or not fans understand that they deep down like dynasties, agree with me. They are good for sports. In fact, the most communist of all of our major leagues out there is the NFL. The only reason you don't really feel the fact that it's just sort of like every team's number is going to come up eventually is thanks to the incompetence, the enduring incompetence of Woody Johnson and Jimmy Haslam and a few other people. Otherwise, it would just be a matter of Just wait your turn. Eventually, your numbers got to come up based on the shared revenue and the capped league and all the rest of it. It's just a matter of time. So I think tennis is better to have that because the scarcity of true underdogs is what's great. It's a little weird now. College basketball has entered a weird space now where the difference between the best teams and the mediocre ones is negligible, and that proves out week after week, game after game. It's unsatisfying ultimately.
Why do you disagree with my assertion? And I don't know what you disagreed with, that either Buffalo or Montreal would beat Carolina, that Vegas and Colorado is actually the Stanley Cup final. What did you disagree with what I was saying about the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Well, listen, I think just as college football is better when Notre Dame is good and NFL is better with the Cowboys being relevant and all of that, I think that the Bleu Blanc et Rouge being a factor in the playoffs makes the NHL a little more appealing, especially given that no team in Canada has done much of anything in the playoffs in many moons. That just is just weird on face and spiritually. Now, I think that's trumped by any American hockey fan, any sports fan has to be rooting for the Buffalo Sabres. It's just real sad stuff for those poor people up there in Western New York. I'm rooting for Montreal.
I bet on them, but I'm also rooting for Montreal. I like the Canadian teams.
Why
in
so?
Hockey.
Why? Oh, I mean, yeah, no, they're fun, they're a fun watch. There's no doubt that the energy. Nick, I mean, what I want is if I am completely objective on something, as I more or less am on this one, whichever fan base is gonna love it more. I think it's a wash between these two, right? I mean,
Agreed.
Sabres fans and Habs fans. I don't know, like who I side with. As far as that thing goes, what I disagree with is I think either one, especially given the extra games being played, we haven't seen the Canes, and it is a legit thing that impacts some teams. The resting up too long thing that the Canes are going to have to try to shake off a little bit of rust. I still like the way the Canes are playing. They seem to have shaken off the demons that have plagued them a little bit. Their brand is going to really wear out. Well, I mean, I guess we will see, but that style that they play, especially whoever survives a 7-game series, is really going to wear out that survivor. That's my expectation. So yeah, I think the Canes are going to go to the final.
All right, so I will bet at least in game 1, perhaps for the series, whoever wins tonight, game 7. I got Montreal to win. They won on the road in Tampa. I certainly think they can win on the road in Buffalo in a game 7. We'll finalize the bets at the end of the show.
Paradoxically, I know that's weird, but I think that's right. Somehow
Montreal.
The math is right. I mean, I think the pressure, the curse of Sposta. This isn't the curse of Sposta on the Sabres, except that this season indicates that they should beat the Habs. But I mean, the amount of pressure and the extra baggage that those Sabres are carrying on their shoulders. If they get down a goal, the energy in the stands will.
Would you rather be the road team tonight
down onto the benches
in this game?
Yeah.
Would you almost rather be the road team?
So. For sure. I don't think there's any negative that comes from the crowd cheering. I think when you feel the nervousness, I've talked to many players in different sports about this, primarily football, but it still is true in the NHL. There is a home field, home ice, home court disadvantage that occurs when you start to feel like, things aren't going our way. You feel it in the stands. Yeah. It makes it down onto both benches.
Oh, man, as a Yankee fan, I can't wait for this October to experience that. We'll see how many times we get to experience it this October, but it's coming. Dave Dameshek with us on the show, Football America. You can find it on YouTube. Also hosting the Dan Le Batard Show every Friday for our friends at Meadowlark Media, on Twitter at Dameshek. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, Dave, have made it official. Aaron Rodgers will be your quarterback this year. Mike McCarthy will be your head coach, partying like it's 2018 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Dave Dameshek's thoughts, now that it's official, are what and why Aaron Rodgers back for another year?
I mean, as quickly as I can, as succinctly, even though it isn't something that not either you or I likes to indulge, as being brief. It's a waste of time. That's how I'll put it. It's a waste of time unless you think that these Steelers have a Super Bowl run in them this year. Then what's the point of doing it? It has zero value, in my opinion. You're just delaying things. Actually, nay, you're wasting a year, a a precious year for Cam Hayward, but for what it's worth, Cam Hayward seems to like the idea of this and has campaigned for Aaron Rodgers to come back this year after he campaigned for Aaron Rodgers last year and campaigned for Russell Wilson the year before that. So I don't know whether he should really be trusted with quarterback personnel decisions.
What is the ceiling? Because this is the case I made in the first hour of the show. It's like I don't think check the Steelers are going to make the playoffs, but I'm wrong all the time. Let's say I'm wrong, and let's play out the absolute upside ceiling case for the 2026 Pittsburgh Steelers. What is it?
I think given the evidence of a year ago, so they win 10 games. This roster has been upgraded. I think we can agree on that. I think that it's funny to me that Mike Tomlin, one thing that kind of slipped through the cracks with his sit down in promoting his, his Sunday Night Football gig, is that he said, I felt like it was a good time for me to step away. We just haven't done anything in the playoffs in a long time. Like, boy, cute little afterthought on your way out the door there. Yeah, I think that, like I've talked about, you talk about ceiling, like you and I have gone back and forth on for many years now. Tomlin is the 21st century's greatest floor raiser. The problem was that there was a ceiling on how far they could ever go based on his approach philosophically, which had become outmoded. So I think that it is ultimately a win. They have not just upgraded the roster, but improved the chances of success based on the coaching staff. The issue is that Aaron Rodgers remains their quarterback. And I think that's a shame when you consider, or if you agree with me, I think that roster is, at least you can make a real strong case, is the best in the AFC North. Maybe the Ravens, if you remove the quarterback, are right there with them. Can I ask a crazy
question? Can I ask a crazy question? Which side of the ball do you think is more talented for the and I know this is a weird thing to say. Take the quarterback out of the equation. The offense is more talented, right, than the defense?
They brought back their assistant GM, I think that's his title. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly what his title is. Andy Weidel, the prodigal son from Pittsburgh, left to Philadelphia and tuned up that line of scrimmage for the Eagles, and the results of which they continue to benefit from, even though Andy Weidel moved back to Pittsburgh a few years ago to do the same in Pittsburgh. That's what his specialization was, handed down from on high. Focus on rebuilding the offensive line and the defensive front here in Pittsburgh, Andy. And so he has. He has not missed on a single pick. So the offensive line should finally be ripening and be ready to borderline dominate. It had some stretches last year. So I think that's the key detail, especially with Aaron Rodgers. And you say take him out of the equation. I guess I'm vamping around here. The defense is ultimately more talented, I think. I mean, I think the defense is real loaded up. I don't see necessarily any flaws, but for that matter, the offense is loaded up. Like I say, they just have a 43-year-old man back there who clearly prioritizes not taking smacks, which I absolutely understand. At age 43, I was more nervous about my mortality than I was when I was 23. That's how it goes. The problem is that he's your starting quarterback, and that is not great. And people say, but wait, isn't the offensive line now going to dominate? Yeah, guess what? Will Anderson and Myles Garrett are still good at football. They are going to reach the quarterback, and that is going to derail the Steelers in January when they play playoff-level teams, playoff-level defenses. Those guys are going to get through, not Myles Garrett, because he's not going to be in the playoffs, but you take my larger point here. And so the ceiling in my book is maybe they could get it to 11 wins thereabouts. I do think they got a little bit of a break from the football gods with a down Ravens team, relatively speaking, and a derailed Bengals team once again. I think you do see the Bengals come back a little bit. That matters, and so does the Ravens probably being a tick better than they were a year ago. I think that catches up with the Steelers as well.
Fair or unfair to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers are about to enter into the new 1980s with their organizational approach?
Aren't they already there? What do you mean? To enter the 80s? Well, they've adopted in the last handful of years. They've basically employed the Chris Ballard already silly, or in fact, I guess Chris Ballard kind of did make something work there with Danny Dimes a year ago, a fluke, and that's basically what the Steelers have been swinging for basically since Ben Roethlisberger hurt his elbow in 2019. I mean, it's been a long time since that happened, and they still have not really solved it because they continue to treat it as though they can find their quarterback. I mean, Chris Ballard just did it, and so it's bad because it validates that approach, which is, who knows?
The Seahawks
Maybe we
just
can
did it
find
too, to be
someone on
fair.
the cheap.
The Seahawks did it, to be fair, also.
No, they spent to get Sam Darnold. That's different.
But I mean,
now,
not like the most extreme amount of money, though.
The Steelers could have taken a better run at Sam Darnold. They could have taken a run at Malik Willis for basically the same amount of bank they just handed 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers. They could have drafted Jackson Dart like I advocated that they do a year ago. I mean, listen, they could have chased Geno Smith a year ago or for this season. Any of those options. And I know it's hard to fathom because Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to the Hall of Fame for the things he did 8 or 10 years ago. There is no sign that this Aaron Rodgers is a reflection. It's a meager reflection. It's sort of Michael J. Fox and his siblings as they fade away in Back to the Future. This is not the same Aaron Rodgers. He is the name brand guy. The Steelers found him on the sales rack at TJ Maxx. He's a brand name, but he's a steal. And somehow this is supposed to make us all swoon. The fact that the other 31 teams saw that this is not the Aaron Rodgers of old should be more disconcerting to Steelers fans, or at least to Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy. But apparently they see things differently.
As a noted football historian, although I would say second place in football historian as far as the two people that are talking right now, but as a noted football historian,
I don't know why you like to do that. That's silly to say.
Because it's fun. Because it was fun.
Make one of your vertical videos. Wear a tank top. All historians wear tank tops.
Let me tell you something, man. I don't know what the weather was like. Well, you're in LA, right? You're in Southern California. It was like 90 degrees. It was hot, man, yesterday. Had to wear the tank top. What do I wear? Long sleeves? It was hot as hell yesterday. The end of the Rodgers.
I don't think a grown man. What I don't want to see, what offends me is the pit hair. I don't need to see it.
But you didn't see it because I am very well manicured.
Well, that's too much. Now, wait, you go clean?
I don't shave my armpits, but no, I am well manicured though. I don't have hair sticking out of the sides. I'm very vain.
That much I know. That much we can agree on.
And listen, you don't like a man to wear a tank top because you're fat.
No, that's not really what it's about. And that's a weird thing to say. I also don't like seeing other men's feet. And then people say, oh, well, you must have ugly feet. No, I just think men's feet are disgusting.
I agree with you.
In a related matter, that's why I can't watch MMA. I mean, it's too much. No, thank you. What would you think of that big Nagano fight? I couldn't see it. He had his bare feet out and was putting them on another man. Makes me want to throw up.
Should the Steelers hire Rex Ryan as their next coach? No, seriousness. Last question here. So noted NFL historian Dave Dameshek. I think the term that the kids use is retcon. It's going to be like, hey, like when Disney eventually says, hey, remember those 3 movies we just made that were terrible? They actually never happened, and now we're going to make new ones. Do you think I have retconned the end of Aaron? Because what I seem to remember, Dave, is in 2018 when the Packers dismissed Mike McCarthy with a month to go in the season and they went 6-9-1 and Rodgers played every game. Was everybody saying this has run its course and McCarthy is a great Packer? They named a street after him. He won a Super Bowl, not questioning otherwise. And they had a great run, but it had grown stale and it's time for it to end. And now 8 years later, we're just doing the same thing at a different place and everyone's like, no big deal. Am I being too dramatic when I say, like, I can't believe this is happening? Am I being too dramatic here with this? Am I retconning what actually happened at the end of this?
Well, first of all, I do not think you are being histrionic or melodramatic or anything else, any other synonyms or tangential words that would apply here. I think that, first of all, you need to keep in mind that the mirage of Aaron Rodgers can get it done 8 years after the last signs of real enduring success with Mike McCarthy. I think that, you have to consider the Frank Gore paradox, which is, why was Frank Gore good
Frank Gore
so
paradox.
deep into his career? Well,
Yes.
listen, because Frank Gore, how's he doing this so deep into his career? Chris Johnson is an ancient memory at this point. Well, it's because Chris Johnson depended upon high-end speed to go in pro football. Frank Gore never had that extra gear to lose. And so that is why Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, well, not Peyton Manning, but Tom Brady at least could succeed well into his 40s. Aaron Rodgers is about quick twitch, getting on the edge and putting pressure on the defense. He's not capable of doing that anymore, so he's not Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady succeeding in his 40s. By the way, Tom Brady is the only 40-plus-year-old guy to ever even reach a Super Bowl. You think the 43-year-old man doing ayahuasca promo videos is gonna change that history? Please, no. And then the big rationalization for the people who are supportive of McCarthy and Rodgers reuniting here is, well, he already knows the offense. Rodgers skipped the little 3-day mini camp that they had back in April on that premise. Like, what's the big deal? Who cares? He already knows the offense. So what you're telling us is no upgrades, no alterations to what you were doing 8 years ago? That's pretty troubling. By the way, let's say you have tuned it up and you made some differences and Aaron now does things this way versus how he did them 8 or 10 years ago. No need to get on the same page with all those new teammates. Boy, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson must have really been wasting their time last month when they attended their team's mini camps. Aaron doesn't need it, though, because he's going to the Hall of Fame for stuff that happened a decade ago. But still.
Well said. I hate that I love Rodgers. I hate that I agree with that with all of this. I don't understand.
Me
what
too.
Yeah.
People keep the Yinzers and otherwise keep coming at me with like, dude, you're just a Rodgers hater. I'm like, man, you think the darkness is your friend? I was born into it. In 2010, October of 2010, I sat on television and repeatedly said, this is pre-Super Bowl win against the aforementioned Pittsburgh Steelers. I said repeatedly, this guy, Aaron Rodgers, will retire as the greatest quarterback in the history of people. I was wrong about that, but the spirit was sound. He is still, after everything we've seen, with the possible exception of Josh Allen, the most gifted quarterback of all time. It has yielded one Super Bowl. The solution for the Steelers is to get back to the Super Bowl that they've been away from 16 years is to go get the guy who hasn't won a Super Bowl in 16 years. A great plan. Let's get excited, Yins.
And the coach that beat them in that game as well. Shaq, you're the best. Football America, the Dan Le Batard Show on Twitter at Dameshek. Stay well. We'll talk to you soon. Sorry about your Penguins.
I'm going to go cut the sleeves off my T-shirt.
You don't look as good as I do, buddy. It's not going to be great for you. All right.